I just took a super long nap.
Really? Geez, I would not sleep at night if I
2 hours.
took a late nap
Well, I didn't mean
this
to.
late.
I know. Dan and I were watching Alone, Australia,
Mm-hmm.
and then we both fell asleep. But I mean, he gets up at 4:30, so
Yeah.
and so I just napped along at the same time.
Oh man.
And then I was going outside to do some plant stuff, and then I was like, "Oh, the podcast."
Hey, Kim and Katie.
Hey, Nay.
Hey, Nay.
I do kind of always say it with that same cadence, don't I?
You do.
Yeah.
Yes. The cadence we've learned to love. You mean the baby talk? Like we're children?
No, like how I just
You've
did it.
stopped. Yeah, no, that's good.
So I guess I have
you were
changed that.
Yeah, I was going to say you haven't done the child talk for a while. Hey, Kim and Katie. I can't remember.
Yeah, I was trying to be like, easy to understand. So I just said it slower. I was like, hey, Kim and Katie. But it does kind of sound.
Yeah,
like we're juveniles.
over 50. Well, we're over 50. So you have to talk to us like we're babies. It's okay.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we'll be like, what was that, Sonny?
Sonny? Well, we had something exciting happen this week, didn't we, Kim and Katie?
What?
We did?
We did?
Well, super exciting.
What was it? Post Malone?
Post Malone.
Oh, yeah, that was... It was exciting for someone in our family.
I was so excited. I couldn't believe they got to meet Post Malone.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so bring us up to speed, Kim.
Well,
with that?
it's all you're on the same text thread. They got it. Okay, he's wanting me to tell the listeners what happened.
Do you know, Nay, that he lives here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he does live here.
He doesn't live here full time, from what I understand. He lives like a few different places.
Nay's referring to some of our family members went to Menchie's and got yogurt, and they ran into Post Malone, and he took a picture with them and everything.
Yeah,
that would be so exciting.
He gave him a couple compliments and found out they just performed and said, "Oh, that's neat." And whenever they talked about his bodyguards, he has 2 bodyguards that were waiting outside the store with him. Oh, I wish I had been there.
I know. Me too.
I keep
my eye out for him all the time.
Yeah,
because I really want to meet him.
Maybe I should hang out there at Menchie's, and then I can at least rope him into our podcast, because
that's right.
We're into May, and that leaves how many months? 7 months before this year's over. And if I don't get this, I have to start writing pen pals in prison, Katie said.
Right.
So
that's right.
So I've got to make this happen somehow with some celebrity. You know what I was thinking about today? I was thinking about if Katie and I ever talk, which we do talk here and there, but we now have to say to each other, save it for the pod, so we don't ever get to have a conversation anymore.
It's true. When we went to the movie, we were like, afterwards.
We wanted to talk. Just anything that comes up, we're like, well, save it for the pod. Otherwise, we will have hashed it out for like 2 hours, and then it's like, well,
you can't recreate that kind of magic.
No. so we don't actually have conversations anymore.
That's why they didn't know what I was going to start off talking about, because I can't tell them. They'll just say, save it for the podcast.
For the podcast.
Yep.
Save it for the pod.
We only live when we're recording, I guess.
Yeah.
They only live if I'm around, basically.
Yeah.
we actually got our most exciting thing ever, which is a voice memo asking our advice. So that's what we're going to do first because we're so excited about it.
We just love getting asked our opinions on stuff.
That's
Ask
right.
for advice.
That was me screaming.
Yeah.
We have way over a century of experience on this podcast. Over 150 years of experience.
Yeah. Why don't people tap into it more often?
Really,
we're a real asset to our listeners. But luckily, Amy Banta has realized our wisdom, and so she has sent us a voice memo.
Hey, Kim and Katie, it's Amy Banta leaving you a voice memo. This is not so much of my 2 cents as it is a request for advice that I think you should give on one of your future podcasts. Because you, Kim and Katie, have said that your 50s feel like your best decade yet. And I know Nay is reaching the end of his 40s. And me, I'm 2 years into my 40s. And oh my gosh, this is the worst decade ever. So if you guys could give like a survival guide to the 40s for us people who may be in that decade or approaching it, because dang, I would like to live to see my 50s if they're every bit as good as you guys say. So that's what I'd like to see in a future podcast, if I can, be so bold and make that request. Also, by the way, want you to know I have finally finished listening to the full backlog of Hey Kim and Katie podcasts, and oh boy, I stand by it when I say best binge listen ever. 10 out of 10, highly recommend. Longtime listeners, go back and re-listen because so much joy there is to be relived. So anyway, that's what I got to say. Thanks. Bye.
All right.
That's true. We have had a lot of good episodes.
And that was a great, great compliment, too.
That was a compliment.
Thank you so much, Amy Banta, wherever you are.
I love seeing the name Amy Banta, by the way.
Me too.
She's
Amy
got a
Banta.
good name. Let's dissect this a little bit. For one thing, do you believe the 40s is difficult?
Yes and no. I feel like my 40s was kind of a blur. If I sit and really go back, like thinking of my earlier 40s, because she's in her earlier 40s, I honestly was like, wow, maybe my 40s, you're right, Amy, maybe the 50s are the best stage. I don't know. Mainly, I guess, 40s for women, because their hormones are now kind of changing and things
that's what I thought about. Yeah,
like
premenopause, menopause stuff.
I think your patience wears a little thin faster. Like I feel like you just because of whatever's happening, it's hard to regulate emotions sometimes. Because I was thinking about like things back in my 40s where now I look back and I think, who cares? Where maybe in my 40s, in my 40s, it kind of rubbed me like different. I couldn't, I don't know. It was hard. I couldn't explain it, I guess, very well.
What's your current experience in your 40s, Nay?
For me, the hardest thing was turning 30. For me, the 40s were pretty straightforward. I liked my 40s too. And
so far, who knows what's to come in the next 4 years?
Got a couple more years of 40s ahead of me. That's right. Like if you've got a good family situation and your family's rocking and rolling and there's no problems, then that's kind of a great time.
Yeah, that's interesting, Nate. That's because of being a woman and your body really does change a lot in your 40s to 50s.
That's a good
I kind
point.
of took it in that way of like just things happening that you feel like maybe are out of your control, or maybe you feel like you're going a little crazy or whatever. That's how I kind of was taking it. not necessarily how you're talking, Nate, but you're a guy, so you have a different perspective.
The 40s in general, in my mind, is a shift. It's a time of shift from being a young person to an older person. And I'm wondering how much, like the 40s, you're kind of working that out. Then when you hit the 50s, it feels like you're all settled in. You're like, okay, now I'm an older person and I love it. That's that's how it feels. I don't know.
Yeah, I think one thing is, like you said, people. I mean, that's why midlife crises happen, is because it's like, I think, because it's your last ditch effort to maybe change your path.
Hang on.
Know, like
or hang on to your youth, or
yeah, hang on to your youth or fight against So when you're
aging.
45, 47, 43, you're like, oh no, I'm not married yet, or I don't have a car yet, or I don't have enough money yet, or what's my job doing?
Yeah.
Should I change paths in my job? Should I change paths in my so that's what you're saying.
Yeah, that's good.
Another factor,
I think it's a big decade of change and life, decisions of like future and realizing you won't be young forever. I think that's kind of difficult.
Yeah, what's interesting, what Nate just said, I hadn't really even thought about that much before, but it's true. Maybe 40s. Like, I guess when I was in my 40s, I actually never was like thinking, what am I going to do with my life now? My kids are almost grown. And like, now what's the next stage of my life? I felt like I transitioned into being a grandma, like turning 50, like having my own thing. I didn't feel like it was I don't want to say crisis. What's the word? I didn't feel like it was
hard.
Well, hard.
You didn't feel like it was hard, difficult? Sure. I don't know.
Yeah, I can't think of the right, but hard. Anyway, I didn't feel that like my time was up type of a thing. My time was wasted. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't feel any of that, but maybe people do feel that. Maybe, like Nate's point, maybe people are like feeling like, hey, I'm not this young person anymore, and I still want to do A, B, C, and D, and like all this stuff. Where
a lot of people
never really felt that way. So
you didn't have a midlife crisis?
Well, that's the word, a midlife crisis. Well, I don't know. That's funny. Matt and I were just talking about. Yeah, exactly.
You think you're going to live to 104 and you're hitting it now.
I've got all the time in the world. No, but Matt and I were just talking about midlife crisis and just stuff like that. And I think maybe I have it. I don't know. I was pretty crazy in my 40s. I kind of was a little like went from 0 to 60 pretty fast sometimes. But like I didn't do anything like crazy that it affected,
Yeah. I mean, I think the midlife crisis is more a mental state, not necessarily going out and buying a new body or a brand new car or something. I mean, I think it's just that feeling of just like, time is, because when you're young, you just feel like you don't even think about time. You're just kind of like, I'm just, but then, I definitely feel like I've gone through a midlife crisis, not right now, but in my 40s. Like, I think Dan and I kind of would laugh, like together, we kind of did it together because we were both kind of like, man, we're getting old, and you start feeling like you become obsolete when you're older. I don't know, but it definitely was this kind of transitional time of like, actually, our time is limited. The clock is ticking, and it's kind of a weird feeling. Like all of a sudden you're just like, well, you can't be relevant forever. And, I don't know. I mean, it wasn't a bad time, but I definitely remember sitting there thinking, we must be going through our midlife crises.
Yeah, that doesn't sound that bad. I mean, it sounds like you're just talking. Like,
yeah, it's just kind of a transition. Like I keep saying, I just think you just kind of have to go from the young mind to the older mind. And then once 50 settled in, then we're like, actually, we're living good, in our 50s, where in the 40s, you're kind of like thinking about being young and realizing you're not anymore. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, I have two more factors that I've thought of. One thing that also changes and I think contributes to the stereotypical midlife crisis at the end of your 40s, beginning of your 50s, where you go out and buy crazy stuff, is that you tend to have more money. Like you're
Yeah.
starting to, you're done with a lot of your expenditures, you're saving, but you're still working. So you tend to
Yeah.
have more money heading into your 50s,
Yeah.
which is good too, So you can go out and buy that sports car or new body. I mean, she's not even thinking twice
She's
about
thinking about
getting her lips done.
her duck lips going.
I feel this way sometimes. Like, I'm almost 50. Am I getting the respect I deserve? Am I like
That's
in
good.
Yeah, I
employment
could.
and my family? And like, I've always been
Yeah.
a jokey, happy go lucky, up for anything. And now I'm thinking, like, are people at work, like, are they giving me like the title bumps, the whatever? Not so much in work for me, but that's kind of
Yeah.
what people might think.
What people
I
think. Well,
I
yeah,
think that's probably true. Like
hmm
mainly for men, but maybe for women too. I think that would be true.
yeah, yeah. And it's like I said before, there's this kind of all of a sudden time hits you in the face. Like you're just kind of like, oh, now
Yeah.
I don't have time to do a lot of shifting or changing or getting people's respect. You're just kind of like, even though you do have plenty of time, but it just kind of hits you. I think because in your younger years, you just never think about that stuff. You just are always like, yeah, we're going to be young forever. You just kind of
Well,
don't think about it.
yeah, I think also we've talked about this in podcasts before. One of the things about that we've learned since we've been now in our 50s is that mental, like what you're just saying, at least for
Mm-hmm.
me,
Mm-hmm.
you don't you learn you realize things you thought were important aren't necessarily that, like, it's not, I don't really care if someone likes me or not likes me as much
Yeah.
as I maybe cared in my 30s or
Right.
40s even. But
Right.
I mean, it's not that I don't try to have people like me, but it's like I don't sit and like, why are they not liking me?
Yeah. You don't put
It's
it
like,
on
yeah,
your priorities. Yeah.
no, yeah,
So that's true. A lot of the drama disappears.
That's what I feel like cruising into my 50s was.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
realizing I don't care necessarily, like I don't have to do things that people want
yeah,
me to do. You kind of just like let go of a lot of the emotions and you're just like all happy. That's why we talk
yeah.
about the 50s being like really a nice decade because
Well, yeah,
there's kind of all this like hard and then all of a sudden you hit your 50s and you're just like actually this is
yeah,
I'm doing things pretty great now.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Yes.
What's our advice to people in their 40s? How to
Well,
get through it?
I
I
think
guess if you're talking about like mental or physical or like hormonal stuff,
Mm-hmm.
I say go get on any type of drugs. I mean, whatever is
Yeah.
available.
Go to your
If
doctor
you're,
and say life
yeah,
is
yeah.
not.
I mean, there's so many
Yeah.
things now available. Even when you before when you and I were in our 40s,
Uh
there's
huh.
a lot of, and people are talking about it more, and like get a good friend, and I don't know, like it's okay if you're crazy here and there. It's fine. It will pass. Like
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that's what I
I
was
don't
going to
know.
say
Don't
too,
beat
Kim.
yourself up.
Yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
was going to say that basically, like, what the faster you could get into the mindset of like the big things being priorities and letting most of the stuff just slip off you, like kids, friends, it'll pass, we'll figure it out, this
Mm-hmm.
crisis, it'll be gone in a few months. Try to take the long view like aged 50-year-olds are so good at.
Mm-hmm. And I think one of the things you experience in your 40s is kind of what you were talking about, Nay, is kind of having these expectations and wondering if you've met them in life. And I think lowering your expectations is a real nice recipe for happiness because you kind of like have to let go of things you thought they would be like, let go of things you know, thought life would look like and just take it for what it is. And when you do that, then you're just like, you know what, this is actually pretty great.
Yeah.
Like if you let go of what you thought it should look like, you know.
Yeah.
I agree, but it does make us sound like three washed up has-beens.
It does. Yeah. Yeah, but like
So
I said,
Amy, just don't have any high expectations.
Yeah,
Don't
just
expect
lower 'em.
anything.
Yeah, lower 'em.
But it's
Washed
true,
up
like
hags.
most people, most kids are average. I mean, that's why. And
Yeah, that's life.
you
That's
Yeah.
just have
okay.
to enjoy
Mhm.
life for, hopefully you have a passion or two, a talent or two, and
Yeah.
you can,
Well,
yeah.
and as far as advice, that's one of the things I was going to say is come get some um, hobbies going. I think
Mhm.
it's that time, at least for me, when my kids didn't need the nurturing and the guiding
Yeah.
as much as like just getting on their path. I had
Yep.
a little bit of like, well, now what do I do? Because like,
Yeah.
your jobs are not over, but they're changing. And so
Mhm.
I think before you hit that point where you're like, well, what's the meaning of life now when I don't have children to, change their diapers or whatever? Fill it up with good friends and good hobbies and fun things for yourself. I mean, I think you give a lot when you're raising your kids, and then you got to kind of turn around and be like, well, give to yourself, like
Yes, definitely.
nurture your own mental stuff. And
Mhm.
so I did a lot of that in my 40s. Like I would think of new things to do, like I started new little businesses and this and that, and just to
Yeah,
keep my
try
mind.
different
Yeah,
things.
yeah, so that's
You
my
know,
biggest bit of advice.
yeah, as you're saying this, this made me think about Matt and I, because when you have little kids, you're right. You focus on your kids and stuff. And I'll tell you, in the last 10 years, I feel like Matt and I have, in fact, I was thinking about this the other day. I feel like we've become better friends now than we ever did dating anytime. Like I thought, well, I guess this is good that Matt and I like each other more today than we did 30 years ago,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so I feel like really in the last 10 years, we've just relied, I don't know, like we just have become better friends, I guess, because we're not now worried. I mean, we still worry about our kids, and our kids are 20 and above, but
Yeah.
we just focus more on our, like
Friendship
us,
and
I
your
guess.
relationship. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can't just sit around and worry about your kids their whole lives. You got to
Right.
kind of turn your focus on each other and be like, like what do
Yeah.
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 Well, and I do feel like it's a great opportunity to get closer to your spouse because you kind of have gone through the trenches together, of
Yeah.
life. And so you have a closeness that you didn't have before. And some of it
Yeah.
is, you've kind of had to rely on each other and stuff. And then that's what I like about my 50s is I feel like Dan and I are really reaping the joys
Yeah.
of like going through all that together, and
Mhm.
now it's like the
Yeah.
stress is lowered and you're just kind of like, you know what, like this is pretty fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And we
Well,
are like good
hopefully.
friends.
I just have
Okay.
one thing that I learned in my 40s that I definitely want to tell
Okay.
because it was really life changing, and I learned it in my 40s.
Okay.
I don't know if corn on the cob is big there, but we're like here on the prairies. We're on the edge of the prairies where I am, and so there's a lot of corn on the cob. And when you eat corn on the cob, you don't need a pattern. You can just
Yeah.
eat. You can use a pattern if you want, typewriter, checkerboard, whatever you want, but you can also just not eat it in a pattern at all and eat it totally randomly. Twist it, do a corner, whatever.
Hmm.
And that's kind of an
Well,
analogy for life, like you guys were saying. You just do your
oh,
thing, and
yeah.
and
You're
you
not
just
bound
do
to,
your best.
you're not, yeah, that's a good, now that I see that it's an analogy,
Katie's
I get
like,
it.
okay.
Yeah. I'm like, well,
But no, I
yeah.
just was going to say, hopefully, Amy, we've answered semi okay the question
Yeah.
that you
Who
had.
knows?
Hopefully, we gave you a little advice.
Yeah. Yeah.
But That was fun to
some
talk about.
tools in her.
Yeah,
Hopefully,
tools.
we've added some tools to her tool chest over the 40s.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, hit it, Nay.
Well, we do have another item.
We do. We have to get
Right
to
back
our
to you, Katie.
our hat of off the cuff.
Off the cuff.
Okay, here we go. What did you believe when you were a kid that was 100% untrue? This was submitted by Shelley Morris.
I've got to jump in here because
Yeah.
it ties in perfectly to what we were just talking about all the things that we believed that turned out to be just wrong. How many kids we were going to have, how long, what kind of shape we'd
lowering
be,
your expectations.
or even just changing them, you know?
Yeah, right.
Okay, what were you going to say, Kim?
Wait, that's it? That's all you're going to say?
Yeah.
So that's what you believed? You believed?
That you had to say. No,
Well, I've got
it's a
so
transition.
many examples. Like, I wanted lots of kids, and I only got 3, which is great. You know, 3's a good number too, and I love my kids. But I thought I was gonna, you know, I had lots of career goals that are nowhere close. You know, I had health goals that I'm not like.
Okay, well, I'm gonna totally go off of what, like, Nay's on this other thing.
Yeah.
Mine is an actual thing I believed was true that I found out was untrue.
Right.
Which is this. When I was little, do you guys know what a currant bush is?
Yes.
It's a bush that grows.
With berries. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
My dad told me when I was little, if you don't have any power, you can plug into a currant bush, and then it will give you electricity. And so I was telling Matt once when we were dating, I said, I was trying to impress him, and I said, you know, if you don't have any power, but there's a currant bush or whatever around you, if you plug into it, you will have electricity. And Matt's like, what? And I said, yeah, anyway.
Wait, you were actually still believing it?
Yes.
Wow.
This is something I was told when I was a kid. Then when I was
never thought that one through, huh?
No. And then when I was dating Matt, well, because I realized my dad told me lots of things that were like that actually ended up not being true, but I believed him because I thought he knows everything. And Matt told me that wasn't true. And to this day, I still want to find a currant bush to plug in.
It's a joke.
How would you plug in?
It's called currant.
It's a bush. It's a bush.
No, I'm just saying. I'm surprised.
Just stick it right in the bark, and then it gives you enough current to have
run something.
Power.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. Well, that is a perfect example since that's what it's good
saying.
You didn't bring that up when we were roommates because I would have been like, okay, weirdo, Katie, how do you plug into a bush? Okay?
Katie, we're up here camping. We don't have power. I got you.
I would have been like, Matt, I think you better rethink this marriage.
You would have said, let's see this, Kim. Let's see this.
Yeah.
So I think that's the line. That's
a good one.
I think she's meaning. Anyway,
yeah, that's the direction I went to. I remember. Okay, so when we lived a few hours out of LA, and so whenever we drive, almost anywhere, but towards LA, we would be on these huge freeways. 4 lanes on each side and packed and. And I remember, and I never asked anyone about this, but I would always sit there and look out the front window and I'd think, I wonder how we know that we're on the red team and then they're on the white team. Like, how does everyone know to stay with their team when they're driving? And that was because I was seeing on our side all the lights, the red lights. And then the other side of the freeway was all the white lights. And I thought we all traveled together, and I think like, I don't even see any red people on the white side. And I don't see any white people on the red side. And I believed that for many years,
Oh,
here we all are going together to LA, all the red people.
That's funny that you never saw a car pass and noticed that, like, look back and notice that they had red.
You'd think.
The
Well, it was
red
always on the
lights.
freeways,
so it was
like
hard
I
to
didn't
do,
think
I
about
guess.
it. You didn't have like cross, in a city, you don't have a bunch of cars. It was these massive freeways with, tons of people on them. And so, anyway, I don't
Well,
know
guess
when
what, Nay? When we were roommates, Katie said to me, "Isn't this interesting?" And I had to explain to her.
Yeah.
Well, look, they're brake lights, and if you look just behind you.
Yeah, I had never thought to question it.
Anyway, that's a fun question.
Yeah.
Hey, Kim and Katie, we've laughed, we've cried as we've talked about our lost youth.
Yep.
Well, it's been a slice. Hey, Kim and Katie, bye-bye.
Toodaloo.
Take it easy.
Bye-bye.
My fact checks, my 2 cents on last week's episode. Other fun facts.
Dang it. I'm gonna go back and look at the titles. Okay. What did you guys start with? Oh, yeah. Yeah, Whopper. You gotta get them fresh. That's when they're best. The Impossible Whopper is quite delicious. You can't tell that it's not meat. The thing that makes the Whopper good is it's like it's the last burger with like leaf lettuce. Well, that's not true. All of Wendy's, they have leaf lettuce. But the Whopper's big. Anyway, Michael Jackson. I probably won't see it. I didn't love, it's Michael Jackson. He's the GOAT, right? But I don't love all of his songs. I don't choose to listen to any of his songs, right? I just, one comes on and it's like, oh yeah, actually I hate Billie Jean, the song. It seems like it's a really long song. But other songs, they come on, it's like, oh yeah, Man in the Mirror, it's an amazing song, great song. Lots of other hits, just great hits, and the dude thought in dance moves, that's what's great about him. Usher said that about him. He was it's as if he thinks in dance moves, he's just was on another level. But anyway, yeah, he was never found guilty. Like you guys said, leading with heart and head, I would guess that I'm an even mix. Guess that's about it. Okay, bye.